Okay guys, so I'm back and we're picking up with the next element. So I think, and we had just finished the pockets and we have this, and I just started thinking about it. Since this is going to be my prayer folio, I've been thinking about adding like a little clear little pocket here. So I have several different versions that I kind of played around with my cutoffs. So what I did is, first off, is I printed one of the images onto acetate like that. And then I took the acetate, and you're going to want to make it 7 by 7. So 7 high and 7 wide. And then I'm going to do for this version is once you get your 7 by 7, you'll just score it in half and fold it in half. And that's your first step if you're doing it exactly like me. That's what I did. And I really played around with different versions. This is like I took a little bit of a Ziploc bag and I made this closure that zips shut. And I just did it off a cutoff, so I'm not using full paper. And then it opens up like that. So I had a thought, oh, that'd be cute. It's actually fused on the inside to the inside of the acetate for this. So I had that, or I could do the standard where it's like the little flip button closure that I want to put here, or a zipper version, which is really cute. So it's like this, and it has that, you can see, and it just zips open, and you can see it looks like that. And I think this is the one I'm going to go for today. But I also wanted to say, if you guys are interested in me doing some sort of video on this, just leave a comment below, and I will do a video on how to make all three if you are interested in that. But I'm going to do this today. This one is already done. I just pre-did it just because of time purposes. So like I said, if you're wanting to follow along, you basically will cut a 7 by 7 out of your acetate print, fold it in half, and then you're going to take your sewing machine and you're going to sew up the sides to sew it shut, and you're also going to sew the zipper on to the acetate. That's what I did for me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our deco paper. Your deco paper that you pick out is going to go on here, and it'll have a little bit of a gap that goes around. And you're going to pick out the deco paper that you want to do. I've tried to pick it, actually, I got a little silly. I picked it so that way it will be almost the same image, just repeated. So when it's down, and you want to think about, okay, my plan is that I'm going to have it flip out, so flip up. So I can put stuff in it, I can put things below it too, and then flip it back down. So in order to do that, my plan is, let me move this out of the way, is get a washi tape, or better yet, if you have some sort of cloth, that would be really nice. And what you're going to do, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cut this washi tape out, but I'm going to keep it on this non-sticky thing. And I'll show you why in a second. So basically I'm going to cut this out using my cutter. And then what I'm going to do is 1/2 of the washi tape is not going to be backed. I'm just going to stick it to the top of this, and then I'm going to sew the washi tape across the bottom. That's the plan. Just on one side. So it's going to get sewn here. Just on one side of that washi tape. The other side of the washi tape you're not going to do anything with yet, because we're going to stick it around this. It's going to wrap around and stick it down with glue. So I'm going to start doing that. And then we will revisit our next step. So let me cut that out. Just going to get my scissors really. And it doesn't matter how close or good or whatever you cut it on this side, because this side's the side that's going to go around the back of the deco paper, if that makes sense. Hopefully you guys understand. So it's going to go around the back of the deco paper. All right, now let me cut this out. Actually, I can fold this back just enough, like this. And then I'm going to just cut this out right along the edge. Just try not to cut your washi tape. So this is what I have, guys. So it's kind of like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this down. You might want to pre-cut your washi tape so it's exact. I'm just going to stick this down like so. There we go. If you have a little extra, you can trim it at this point. There. So that's my washi tape down. Just like that. I'm going to burnish it. Then I'm going to go get my sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew right down the side there. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. There it is. I sewed it onto my washi tape, and this is going to be our little hinge. So hopefully that makes sense. Pay no mind to my sewing, guys, because I am not the best sewer. But this is mine. My little thing. All right, so now we're going to hinge this to this. At this point, since this is going to go on paper, all we need is the glue. So we're going to glue this to the other side. Just line it up. And I want, this is going to be this way. Like this. Just lining it up. And then we're going to glue this, add extra glue to your washi tape, or to the side, or both, whatever you guys want to do. All right, there we go. And I'm just running that around to the other side, like that. Then you would just want to burnish it down so it's flat and smooth. Now, for me, this is going to be just fine. Like I said, if you wanted to make it a little bit more sturdy, you could use fabric, and that would be, you guys have glue everywhere. You can use fabric, and then that would be even better, you know. But for me, this is going to work. You know, this is my own personal prayer journal, and it's going to flip up like this. You see how that kind of works? So now what we're going to do is we're then going to glue this part to this. And you just decide what you like, what, you know, if you want to do acetate at all, and then decide what side you want the flip to be, what side you might want, you know, something else to be. And you can do on just 3 sides and put like a little tuck pocket there. I mean, or put one here, an extra one. In fact, I might want to do that just because. So before I glue it down, I'm going to put a little thumb notch there. Okay, so then you're going to take a punch. If you're doing exactly what I'm doing, that is. And just kind of eyeball it. There we go. Then I'm gonna just kind of smooth out the corner and distress it a little bit, and then we'll glue it down. Still got stuff stuck from where I cut the washi tape. All right, and then a little bit of distressing just right there. There we go. Yep. Okay. Gonna go like that, and then we'll have this here. So you're going to want to glue it just in 3 places pretty much. So along the back here, I'm going to get a lot of this just to make sure that it's pretty secure. There we go. Then you just want to try to line it up on your page to where it looks okay. Because this piece is exactly the same height as this, so it's not going to be the same height as that metallic paper, if that makes sense. I'm just lining it up to this edge, and I'm going to burnish it down. There we go. All right, that looks pretty nice. So then, let's see, we have this, flips up like that. It opens, a little pocket that you put in here, a little, you could put a picture back here of someone you're praying for, or, you know. And then we have a little tuck here. Let's see if I can find something to, like, so it's like this. You can see it's pretty good size, because I can get this whole thing in there. Now we're going to work on this part of it. So this part, I wanted to do a, like a gatefold waterfall. I couldn't think of the words. So anyway, what you're going to want to do is, I made some notes, and I'll set these out so you can screenshot them. Now, I do apologize for my handwriting, but you can screenshot that. As you guys can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can. And you can kind of see my notes, but I will be going through it, obviously, on the video. So sorry for the chicken scratch. I really just make notes for myself. That way I can kind of keep track of what I'm doing. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a piece of decorative paper. I'm picking something very neutral. That's going to be on the base of our gatefold. So this piece measures 3 7/8 by 7 tall. So 3 7/8 by 7 tall. And you're probably going to want to distress it, which I didn't do. Sorry, guys. Take off my pencil mark there. And I'm going to get my ink. Move that up just out of the way a little bit. I'm just going to do a quick distressing. This is archival vintage photo. Sorry if you hear me sniffling. It's just because I think I'm Still dealing with something. Okay. So that's going to be our base, but we're not going to put it down yet because we're going to put our gatefolds down. And then the base is going to cover the hinges of our gatefold, if that makes any sense. So it's going to be our gatefold, and they're going to have hinges, and then this will ultimately go on the top to hide the hinges. Okay, so let's just set that aside just for a moment. All right, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get an image that you really like, and you're going to print out 2 copies of the image. Okay? And the reason why is, let me see if I can get this ready for you. You're going to take a piece that is 1 full piece altogether, and it's going to be 5 3/8 across from end to end, 5 3/8 by 7. Okay, so the length or the height of the folio. So 5 3/8 by 7. And you just want to pick an image. So it could be anything you want out of the kit. I chose this. But you're going to want to pick 1 full piece. And the reason why is because when it's a gatefold, for me, I wanted to do something so when it's together, the gates are down, it's going to make a full image like that. And the reason why I want you to print 2, if you're playing along with me and doing what I'm doing, of course you don't have to do this. The second image is, so you find, you cut the same spot out of both prints. And then after you do that, you're going to cut down another piece. So when this is going to be a closure that's going to be magnetized, it's going to snap down in place, and it will complete the image, if that makes any sense. Hopefully you guys are catching where I'm going with it. All right, so let's work our way through it. So you're going to cut a total length of whatever image you choose. If you're doing it just like me, you're going to cut, you're going to print out two exact same images, and then you're going to cut one is going to be, well, you're going to actually cut 2. 2 is going to be 5 3/8 by 7. And then one of them, you're going to cut in half on the short side. So this is the shortest side, this is the long side. You're going to cut it right in half. So find the halfway mark and then cut it down the middle. And then set that aside for a second. And then your other one, you're going to, basically you're going to just pick wherever you want your closure to be across the image. And wherever that is, basically you are going to, let me get this, there we go. You're going to think about where you want it to snap. So for me, I want it to snap right there. And this little piece, basically you want that to be about, I measured it, let me see my notes, is 1 9/16 high. And you want it to be, it's going to be the exact same width across initially. And then you're going to cut it down to stop right where our first score mark is going to be. So this entire length, actually I did not write that down. The entire length of this piece is 4 5/8. So you're going to want it to be 1 9/16 wide or high, okay, by 4 5/8 long. All right, so that's what you're going to need for that. Okay, let me move this aside. So then once you get that, you're going to start your scoring. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure, because now you have 2 pieces that you're dealing with, you're going to want to make sure that you score 1 at 1/2 and 3/4, and you're going to score the other one also at 1/2 and 3/4, but make sure it's on the other side so that way you have both sides to be your fold. And then with your closure piece, so that's on the short side, guys. The shorter side, you're going to do those scores on, okay? And then on your closure piece, on the longer side, you're going to do your score at 1/2 and 3/4 on the long side of the closure, if that makes sense. And then you'll distress all the way around it as you, or not, it's up to you if you don't want to distress. And I had rounded the corners on the closure. And of course, you don't have to do this as a closure. You could do a button closure like this type of thing. You could do, I mean, no closure. It's up to you, really. It's your preference because it's your prayer or whatever folio you're going to use it for, I guess. Okay. So that's those. Now just set those aside just for a moment, okay? Next, what I did is I want this to be underneath the skate fold in our, let me see if I can kind of line this up for you guys. In our, this is going to be kind of holding this down, glued under here. If you can kind of start to see how it's coming together, okay? Like that. I'm just going to set this closure aside. And then once you open it up, what I did is I took those postcards that are in the kit, and I'm going to use those guys as my waterfall. And this is going to be my prayer waterfall for people that are really important to me, that I want to keep on my mind in a certain prayer time, a certain prayer season. And I can always switch it out. So how this is going to end up going is I'm going to space these postcards so that way each one, so okay, whoops, it's going to go like this. So I cut each postcard, sorry, let me move this for you guys so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. It's going to be like this all the way down to the bottom. Obviously, just bear with me, guys, because this is not glued in. And then it'll be on the top. And then each one will be able to flip up, okay? So I printed out 5 postcards, okay? And each postcard actually measures, let me see what I have down for this. Okay, each postcard is 3 7/8 long ways here, or wide, by 2 11/16 tall. That's each postcard. Now the top one though, I had cut that a little bit shorter, just ever so slightly. I cut it to 3 3/4 by 2 5/8. That's because I cut this at the same size as the postcards, which is 3 7/8 by 2 11/16. And the reason why I did that is because I want the very top piece to have a little bit of blank, just ever so slightly. You see that? And that's going to just be kind of where it starts, like that. So you're going to need to have 5 postcards total. And if you're playing along and doing it just like me, you want this one just to be a little bit smaller, at 3 3/4 by 2 5/8. And then the metallic is the same size as the postcard. All right, 3 7/8 by 2 11/16. Okay. And then once you have all these printed and cut out, you'll distress around the edges. Okay. And then set that aside just for a moment. And you are going to want to make 5 hinges. Okay, so each hinge is going to be the same width. So 3 3/4 wide and you want by 1 inch because you're going to score it in half. Okay, so 5 hinges, and you're going to score it in half. So I kept this one out just to kind of show you. So on the short side, on the 1 inch side, you're going to score it in half, right down the middle here, in half, okay? This is already scored, but you can kind of understand. Once you fold it, burnish it down, you are going to miter it, miter the hinge on both sides, okay? So I'm going from the top in, like that, and the same with this side, like that, okay? That's how you're going to do for each one of those hinges, okay? Now, here comes the fun part. This is where we're going to start gluing it. All right, so grab your hinges and your postcards, okay? Just move everything else aside for the moment. Okay, I got my postcards. Now for me, I'm also going to take this time to glue this part, this piece, to this piece. It's not this piece. It's this piece, I think. Is it this piece? Yeah, it's this piece. There we go. So that way it's just peeking through. So I'm going to glue that down. So now that we have that done, what we're going to do is try to think of our alignment, okay? Okay, goes like this. All right, that's going to go like that. This is going to go over here. Okay. So I'm just thinking about this out loud. Some of this I'm just kind of doing as I'm going a little bit, but I do have a lot of notes too. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is, for this, I'm thinking about, just like how I have a little bit of this metallic here, I'm thinking about having just a hint of metallic behind my closure. So it will be like that, just behind it, okay? So this piece for this metallic here is, oops, sorry guys, 3 7/8, and it is by 1 5/8, okay? And that's what I did if I want a little bit of metallic to show from the back, which I think I do, but don't glue it to it yet because we're going to put a magnet in there. What I am going to do is round the corners on just one side like I did on here. If I can find my corner rounder. Okay. There we go. Okay. So if you want, you can place your magnets now, and then we will come back to it. Either that or we can wait. Let's just wait for the magnets just for a moment. So I want to get make sure my measurements are right. I'm just going to clip these together. That's my gatefold. Okay, there's a little secondary piece to this element here that we're working on. And this is a notepad. Okay, so for the notepad, this notepad, my plan is that this is going to be hinged at the top and it will flip down over the top of the gatefold. So this will flip up and it will reveal the gatefold here. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that's making sense. All right. Okay, so for the notepad, you're going to need one piece that is 7 1/4 inches long. So pick out, look through all of the images. There's so many to choose from. Trust me, I know the struggle is real trying to find, it's just too many options, but it's a lot of fun. So 7 1/4 long. This is going to be your longest piece by 3 1/2 wide. So 7 1/4 inches long by 3 1/2 inches wide. You're going to take that long piece and you're going to score it from the top. So if this is going to, for me, I want this to be my top of my notepad, and I want this to be the top of the notepad on this side. So from the top, you're going to, on the long side, you're going to score, hold on, let me make sure that I have my notes here. You're going to score at 1/2. You're going to score at 3/4. 3/4. And then you're going to score at 1. Okay? So you'll make those 3 score marks. The first 1/2 inch score mark is going to be the hinge. That's what's going to be hinged under here, okay? The next one is going to be for the height of the your gatefold. It has to be able to go high enough above that it's going to start hinging right where the gatefold stops. So this gatefold is measured to be 1/4 of an inch in depth, okay, or high, or whichever, however you want to say that. So 1/2 inch for the hinge, 1/4 inch for the notepad, or for, I mean, not the notepad, but to make up for the height of the gatefold to be able to be under it, okay, if that makes sense. I have like a thing in there. I have this thing was getting in the way. So it's going to be able to fit in there, if that makes sense, when it's underneath. And then for the height of the actual notepad, or the depth of the notepad, or the thickness of the notepad, however you want to say that, you need another 1/4 of an inch. So what you're going to want to do is pick some papers, but make sure that you're not going over 1/4 of an inch in thickness of the notepad. You can do under if you want, just don't do over, because then it's going to start impeding on how the folio folds up, if that makes any sense. Okay? So now that we have that scored, guys, you're going to take that piece after it's scored, and you're going to go ahead and distress it if you're choosing to. I'm doing mine now. And think about if you want the corners of the bottom to be rounded, okay? You're going to take another piece also, before I get going on this. Where did I put it? Ah, it's right here. And you got to take another piece, sorry, and it's going to be the exact height as the top cover without the hinges and folds, okay? So this second piece is going to be 6 1/4 long, tall or long, by 3 1/2. Oops, by 3 1/2. And so will all of your papers. Your papers will be cut at 6 1/4 by 3 1/2 wide. And like I said, you can, these are just some extra papers that I happen to have that were purple, so I picked those up. But you can pick as many as you want. Just don't go over 1/4 of an inch when it's all put together. Just make sure you don't go over 1/4 of an inch. Hopefully I'm making sense. Now, if you want to, if you have anything, any device to do scoring, like a perforation, go ahead and do that, and so it can be like a tearaway notebook. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay guys, I'm back. I just decided it was gonna take a long time, so I stopped the video, and because even sped up, I think it would take a long time. Okay, now I've got all of my papers scored, so that way, or perforated, so that way they can rip out. Now you're gonna take your pieces, and your bigger piece with the score marks, you're gonna glue this part, just that very first part there, you're gonna glue it here on the inside. So right here. Like that. And it's just the first 1/2 inch there. Just kind of eyeball it for in the middle as best you can. You want just up to the top, burnish it down. Okay. Go. There we go. Oops. Accidentally got some glue on the inside there. Squeezed out of the sides. Oops. That's in there, you're going to take all of these together, and line it up at the second score mark. So what you're going to do is you're going to, once you have that glued down, you're going to get your pad and you're going to line it up to your other cover that's not glued down, flip it around. Okay, just enough that it kind of keeps it together. I'm probably going overkill on this. So then what you're going to do is you are going to apply glue just in this 1/4. Let me see if I can get something to show you guys, because it's kind of all the same. So on the first part, there is this score line here. So this is this first 1/4 inch here. Okay, you guys see that? You are going to put glue here. Basically, just put it on here, and then you'll have it. And you're going to line it all up together like this, and then you're going to clip all of these together and let it dry, so that way it will be all in one, if that makes sense, okay? So I'm just gonna speed this part up. Okay guys, so I'm back to finish up the other section of our folio. So where we left off was the notepad. So it's had time to dry, and this is where it's at, and it has the perforation, so these actually can just rip out and they open up like that. And then this is the back side of it. Now we're going to do our gatefold here. So we left off with, this is our piece. Now we're not going to glue this down again yet. This is going to go on the base though. It's going to hide all of the little pieces. All right, so the next step is we are going to put this in place. So which way is what? I think it goes, is it this way? Yeah, this is the way. So let's start with this side. I'm going to glue right here along this 1/2 inch seam. I'm bringing my little thing here. I'm trying to use this, guys, but it's not as clean as I thought it would be. So I'm just going to line it up so that way the page is evenly in here, but all the way down to the bottom here. Hopefully you guys can see. Okay, yeah. All the way down to the bottom and lined up to the seam where it bends. Just make sure you don't go over. Okay, where's my bone folder? Found it. Just, yep, making sure it's the right orientation. Burnish it down. All of this is going to be covered, so don't worry about that. Then, if you're going to do the, did I do that a little too much? I think I did. Let me round the corners a little bit more on this because I think I picked a different roundness than this one. Dang it. There we go. Let's see if this lines up a little bit better now. Okay, it does. We're just going to go with it. Sometimes we just got to go with it. I'm going to just ink a little bit of those corners really quick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a magnet. So I'm going to grab my magnets. So I'm going to put one about there. We'll do the other one in a second. It's kind of middle-ish, isn't it? It's fine. It's going to be glued down, so don't worry, guys. Let me just move this slightly out of the way. There's that one. Okay, let me go ahead and glue this down. This is the tricky bit because this has that metallic. If I'm not careful, like I told you, it kind of takes the metallic off with this particular type of glue. You could use score tape too, but I just don't trust my placement, I guess. I'm trying to get right up to the line and up to the first score. There we go. All right. Just so there's just a hint of shine peeking through. That's what I want. Not a lot, just a little. And making sure that it's not over the score line, that it can still bend. There we go. All right, that looks good. All right. Now, let me see. Let me go like this and line this up to where you want it to be and get some sort of clippy. Sorry guys, let me move this stuff out of the way just a little bit. Okay, so you line it up to where you want it to sit at. All right. Yep, about there. Then you're going to take that, place that pretty much in the same spot. Okay. Now, you're going to line these two up first, the top and the bottom. And you are going to put this on first once you line that up. So that way it'll be all glued down in the right spot. Glue this down. I'm going to put some glue on here, just right on top of the score tape too, just to make sure that I have some play time. This down here. Oops. So I'll let that dry just a little bit more, and then we will work on the inside, and I'll take off the rest of that goo. There we go. All right, yep, looks good. All right, so then what we're going to do is then we're going to place down this piece that's going to go over the top. Screw up there too. How did I get it up there? All right. So this piece is just going to go over the top, and kind of, if you can see, it's going to go in place. Then what we're going to do is put in our waterfall, okay? Oh, also we're going to do some decorative paper for the inside of the flaps. Forgot that part too. Don't mean to leave stuff out. Sometimes I just forget that I haven't said anything. There we go. I'm just going to line it up. Top and bottom, burnish it down. Like that. All right, so now we just need a little pieces for here, for the little flaps. I'm going to look in my extra pieces. What size? I totally forgot to pre-measure this, guys. I'm sorry about that. We need a piece that is 1 and 15/16 by, it should be by 7. By 6 and 15/16. It's not sticky. All right, I'm letting that dry, and then I'm going to come back and do some trimming on that. I think I just used the wrong corner rounder for it. Then you want to think about how you want your waterfall to be. All right, so there's 5 of these. I'm definitely going to start with this at the top. It's going to be there. There's a 1/2 inch margin, or yeah, because that's our seam. You can line them up, just center-ish, for the 1/2 inch. I'm just kind of posing them right now. This isn't the necessary. Am I saying that right? Who knows, guys? I don't know. All right, so if I started there and did, I don't know what I was thinking, so 1 inch and 1/4. That's here for every single one. That's 1. So 1, 2, 3, because my first one's actually here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 5. That should get me all the way to the bottom. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I can't speak for myself. I can't defend myself. Okay, and you just put glue on the fold, on the flap. This is going to go all the way up and in the center as best as you can. In the center. There's one. And think about the next image that you want. What do I got here? I want this one second, I think. This one third, 4th, and 5th. Kind of like that. Setting that over there for a second. Yeah. Next one here, I think. Yeah. Just trying to find, I have those little marks that we made. Try to center it as best you can, and then close it and try to line it up. If that makes sense. Okay. All right, then just distress the edges. That way, if there's any things that you missed. Okay, I need to just stop. Here we go. There we go. All right, good. It is good, guys. It is good. Move this out of the way, and this. And this will go down. And that goes like that. Oh, and sorry, guys. And then that goes on the top. So that is that, guys. That's that section done. So we have our gusseted pockets, our notepad section that has the perforation for the tear off. We have our little gatefold with our little waterfall in here. My plan is to put pictures on the back and my prayers for each one. So I could even put a picture on the front and then put the prayer for that person on the back of each one, like a little prayer card that I can glue. And I can change out the prayer cards so I can do it in a non-permanent way. That's what I think I'm going to do using May's journaling cards. But we'll get to that later. So that's this. That's this one. We did that. And then I have my little prayer notes that I'm going to put in here. It's going to go in here. Of course, you can put something here or a favorite verse or whatever you like. And then a pocket here. And then we know that this folds up. And then this is going to go like that. So far, that's where we're at. Oh, and of course our secret space there. And we're going to come back and we're going to finish the next section in a little while. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.